Hello. Okay, so we are going to look into, so I've been trying to think of how to get the information that I'm trying to get about the events surrounding Quentin's disappearance and presumed death. What I have thought of is I'm going to look into each person and figure out what their role was in it, and then that as like a big picture put together should kind of give us more answers. So we're going to look into the mother, the boyfriend, the brother, who has been requested by several people here and on Instagram to look into, so definitely going to look into the brother, the grandmom, real quick the grandpa, but I'm not suspecting he has any involvement. I'm just thinking he might know something that he hasn't said, or presume something that he hasn't said. I think that's it. So I'm trying to think of who to start with that could make this make sense first. Let's start with, yeah, you're gonna be like, what? But we're gonna start with Quentin. What was going on with Quentin himself right before this happened? Seven of Cups. So he was probably sleeping. He was either sleeping, or I believe they said he was had a pack and play, or it was said that he was seen in the pack and play. Does it say? Oh, yes. Escapism is one of the words on the card. So I feel like he was sleeping and then had got out of his crib or pack and play, or the bed that he should have been in, he was out of. Was this while the boyfriend was getting ready for work? High Priestess in reverse. Yes. So Quentin was... One second. Two of Cups in reverse. Okay. So Quentin was sleeping, and the boyfriend got up and started getting ready for work and woke him up by accident, and he got out of the pack and play or the crib or whatever and was like disrupting his morning getting ready. We're gonna leave that at that. Okay, now let's go into the boyfriend. So the boyfriend wakes up in the morning, that morning, then what? Strength in reverse, Hangman in reverse, Ace of Cups in reverse, and the Devil. So interestingly enough, in my first reading, my first reading about Quentin, when I said, what did I say? I said something about, so the boyfriend went to work and then what happened, and I got the Eight of Pentacles and the Devil, which was basically saying this happened, like the devil went to work. It was like, okay, and then the boyfriend went to work, and then I got the Devil and a card about work. So it was like confirming the devil went to work. This card coming out again, especially with these other cards, is very concerning to me. This card's about impatience. So essentially, he accidentally woke Quentin up. What I'm getting, entertainment purposes only, my opinion. He woke Quentin up by accident, like was loud or something like that. And this is like about like failure to sacrifice, or like unwillingness to sacrifice. So it's like in that moment, the boyfriend should have taken on that like step parent role and just kind of either gotten the mom or put him back to bed or been like, you know, this is a child that just got woken up. Obviously, he's going to be a little rambunctious, or like his job is not to make your morning easier. But that was not the thought going through his head. His head was, I need to get ready for work. This kid is driving me nuts. Why is he awake? He's bothering me. Frustration. And then the Ace of Cups is about repressed emotion. So it's like, in that moment, he was not feeling an emotional attachment to a child. He was feeling annoyed by this child. And okay, what happened next? So piece it together. Quinton was sleeping in his pack and play or crib. I'm just gonna say pack and play because I believe that the grandmother said pack and play or something like that. So anyway, pack and play, if for those who don't know, it's like a portable crib. So it's like essentially you could travel with it, like a lightweight, it folds up. It's a bed with walls around the side. I'm saying this because it's something that essentially the boyfriend believes he should have stayed in, but he climbed out of. And that was like what set him off. Like he should still be in the pack and play. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So he climbed out, was bothering the boyfriend. It was said that the mother said that she was still asleep, or the grandmother said the mother was still asleep or something like that. So it kind of is set in the scene like there's truth within the lies. So the baby wakes up because the boyfriend knocks his elbow into the wall or knocks something off the table. It's something that he wasn't trying to wake him up. It wasn't like, okay, time to wake up. It was like he was going about his morning, trying to get ready for work, maybe late, maybe, you know, whatever. So he's trying to get ready for work, accidentally wakes the baby up. The baby comes, starts bothering him. Then what happens? Hierophant. The boyfriend essentially was trying to assert his power and control over the situation. How did he do that? In what manner was he trying to do that? Ten of Wands. Hold on. Four of Cups. Okay. So this is something that, this card's about like finding new solutions to repeated or old problems. Four of Cups in reverse. This is about a heavy burden. So mixed with this being in control, like it's like this is something that this wasn't the first time it happened, or like just like the annoyance was not new. Like it was like he was like, okay, like this is my last straw. Like I'm trying to just get up and get ready for work and I can't even get time in the morning by myself. That's kind of like what I'm getting here. Especially like they had a newborn and then they had all this other stuff going on. I feel like for the boyfriend, getting up in the morning and like getting ready for work, that little bit of time of the day before anyone else is up, before he has to deal with the baby and the girlfriend and the grandma and all this other stuff, before that all gets piled on him, I'm feeling like that morning time was his only time to like be like, just like not deal with any stressors. Like he's awake and he's not as stressed as he knows he's going to be for the entire rest of the day. So that's kind of what set him off, that he's like, you know what? Now I'm waking up in the morning and I get 20 minutes to get ready and just be by myself. And now this little boy is going to wake up just because I made a noise. That's what I'm getting from this. This card is what's making me the most worried here, honestly, about like all So basically, I know that the babysitter said that there was bruises and she was concerned about certain things. This card is about like a new approach to an old problem, like I said. So it's like he tried yelling, he tried putting him back to bed, he tried getting the mother's help before, and this time he was like, nope, and just lost it because all of those other solutions weren't really helping. And in that moment, it was like like it's like the rest of the 23 hours out of his day, in his mind, he views them as so stressful. He has to deal again with the baby mom, with the baby, with the other kids that aren't his, with the grandma who's giving him problems, with his job, with all of this. So in his mind, these couple minutes in the morning are like his medicine, like his mental medicine, like he needs it. That was getting taken from him because the baby had woken up due to him making a noise of some sort. That's what I believe. I believe that I think that, yeah, yeah. So it's almost like he couldn't handle looking to the rest of his day, knowing that he wasn't getting that little bit of time in the morning to just be, especially like they're getting kicked out of the house. This is like the last little bit of time where they have somewhere to stay that's like theirs, essentially. Like they don't know what they're doing, they don't know where they're going after they get kicked out of this house. So it's like in his mind, it's like a panic. Like it seems like this is like really coming from deep in this person's childhood, as in the boyfriend, like almost like in the house that they're in, it's like he's mentally back in like a safe space that he didn't have when he was younger, or that he hasn't had since he was younger, one of those. And it was like a trigger to get that little bit of peace and quiet time taken from him. Like he, in that moment, that peace and quiet was essentially like a drug that was going to get him through the rest of the day. And that got taken from him. So he didn't try what he did before. He did something different. I like already feel like I don't want to ask this question, but I know it needs to come out. So the baby woke up, got out of the pack and play, was around the boyfriend annoying him. Then what happened? Two of Wands, the Emperor, and Eight of Swords. All right. So the boyfriend, to get back his power and control, so it's basically like the Hierophant graduated to the Emperor. So this is like more of a peaceful authority, and this is more of like a, I'm gonna get my way no matter what it takes to get my way. This is more like a taking the high road, which is essentially what he's tried to do in the past, is take the high road. Maybe the high road is getting the mom to take care of the problem. So like where in the past, maybe he would have just gone in and woke up the mom. That wasn't going to work this time. He was trying something new. And whatever he was trying was not taking the high road. It was simply getting what he wanted at all costs. And what he wanted in that moment was peace, was people to leave him alone for his little bit of time that he gets to himself. I can like almost like hear it, like in his mind, he's like, oh my gosh, like, and again, this is him to himself. This is not me defending him. This is me like telling you what I feel like his mindset was. So the baby woke up, and in his mind, he's like, oh my gosh, like I do all of this stuff. I have to go about my entire day. This is the literally only 20 minutes that I get to just listen to my music, get ready, whatever he does in the morning before work. And now this baby's taking it from me. His mom's driving me nuts. Her mom's driving me nuts. Like, this is my only 10 minutes, and now this baby's maliciously taking it from me. I'm not saying that I feel that the baby was malicious. Babies literally cannot be malicious. But in his mind, that's what was happening. Okay, I'm gonna just read you the words on this card, and then we're gonna pull some more cards because I want to get a little further before I go into detail about this. The Eight of Swords. It seems like you're blocked, but you can still take a step, is the quote on the card. So it seems like you have no other option, but you find another option, essentially. Disempowerment, taking someone's power away so that you have yours. Uncontrolled thoughts, somewhat like a panic, like a, oh my gosh, I only get 20 minutes to myself and now he's taken 15 of them and I only get 5 and I can't go about my day if I only have 5 minutes to calm my mind. That's what I'm getting. Captivity. I'm going to pull some more cards. So in what way was the energy of this card achieved from the boyfriend in regards to the baby that morning? The Empress. The Emperor. The Empress. Page of Cups. So and the Moon in reverse, this other card. So the couple, the Emperor and Empress, the baby, the Page of Cups. The baby whose emotions were either he was like woken up very happy or woken up not happy. But like there was some extreme of emotion that was coming from the baby that the boyfriend was like, can't deal with this early in the morning. And then the Moon in reverse is about a mistake you can't recover from. Deception. Okay, so we're going to switch into pulling cards for the mother now. So essentially, the baby woke up, got out of the pack and play, was bothering the boyfriend while he was trying to get ready for work. He had an absolute adult temper tantrum, the boyfriend did, either externally or internally, freaking out about not having his alone time because the baby had woken up. The baby was either in a very good or very energetic or very bad mood. Honestly, it doesn't matter. He's a baby, so he's going to have all those moods. That's part of, you know, being a baby. He was like, I'm not going to just keep doing the same thing I was doing before because that obviously wasn't working. He needed to take his power back. And he needed to take the power away from the baby. So now, how does the mother come into this? Judgment in reverse. Like not being willing to face the facts, or the failure to face the facts. Disappointment, blame. Okay, so he starts blaming the mother. It's your fault. You should be watching him. Something along those lines. Okay, so we're up to that. The boyfriend's pissed, starts blaming the mother. Six of Wands and Wheel of Fortune. Oh. King of Wands, Ten of Pentacles. Okay. This is the brother. Especially coming out with the Ten of Pentacles. Which is about like roots, family. Inheritance. So inheritance could be passing a problem from one person to another. The wheel signals change. Six of Wands is like bringing in like an aspect of public or a group of people. So I'm going to pull a card to confirm. This is me asking a question, not making a statement. Is it that the boyfriend was freaking out or pissed, started arguing with the mother, and the mother involved her brother? Is that what happened? Five of Pentacles. Yes, but something had already happened to the baby by the time the brother got involved. Is it... How do I word this? Hold on. Did the boyfriend do something that ultimately caused the baby to be in dire distress? The Sun, baby. Yes. The Sun, in like a yes or no aspect, the Sun is a yes both ways. So whenever it's an upright Sun for a yes or no question, I take it to mean that that's confirmation within itself, because it's like it could have been yes, no matter which way the card came out. So the boyfriend injured the baby in some way, then went to the mother, then what happened? The Page and the Knight of Pentacles. So the boyfriend injured the baby, went to the mother, said, you know, he was bothering me. I feel like he probably downplayed whatever happened. Like either he, let's just say, he hit him or pushed him or did something to cause an injury. And either the baby was freaking out and the mother heard it and woke up. I think it's more of the boyfriend went in and was like, here's your kid. He's crying. Maybe without realizing how badly he had hurt. I feel like he knew how badly he hurt the baby, but was just trying to get out of that house and get to work. My opinion, entertainment purposes only. I believe that the boyfriend hurt the baby, went into the mother. The mother was asleep. He knew that she was either on, I mean, it said that she got her wisdom teeth out and she was on medicine, and that's why she forgets. That's not the kind of medicine that makes you forget murdering your child, okay? Just, I've had my wisdom teeth out, and there's no way that I would have murdered my child and forgot about it. I just, no. So he knew that she was not going to quite all the way piece together what was happening in that moment, because he's waking her up. He's like, your child, your child. He's freaking out. He's freaking out. He gets ready, leaves, and goes to work. He knows that that baby is injured, which is why he texts the babysitter and says, you're not going to watch the kids today, because he knows the baby might not have been, I don't like this word, but disposed of yet. Sorry, I was getting a phone call. Okay. So the boyfriend goes in and says, here's your kid. You know, the mother doesn't remember hurting the baby because the baby was already hurt when he was given to her, but she was not fully awake and aware in that moment to understand that the boyfriend had already injured the baby. The mother, after a certain amount of time of this baby freaking out, is like, what do I do? What did I do to this baby? He's not getting better. Maybe she saw an injury and was like, did I do that? Something along those lines. So she reaches out to the brother. The brother is a more intelligent criminal than she is. He did say something like, he was saying how the sister used to steal and she just would always get caught. It's almost like he was saying, if that was me, I wouldn't have gotten caught. You know what I mean? Like, she went to him for help because she's like, there's something wrong with this baby. And I can't take him to the hospital like this because with everything else going on, they're just going to, you know, blame me. I'm going to get in trouble for it. Cherry in reverse, look, it says, loss at the last minute. So it's like the baby was starting. So the boyfriend injures the baby. The boyfriend passes this baby to the mom, who's out of it, not coherent enough to understand at that moment that this baby that was crying and in distress was actually injured in some way. The boyfriend leaves for work, makes sure he texts the babysitter because he's like, you know, whatever happens with this babysitter can't come because she's going to know something's wrong. It's obvious. So he either gives instructions on to the mom what to do, or those instructions could have came from the brother. But this was someone else telling the mom what to do to help the mom try and get away with it, because she didn't really understand what happened in that moment. But I do feel as though the baby was not passed away when he was given to the mom. He was still alive, and she, hold on a second. Seven of Wands, challenge. So I think that baby was not passed away. I think he was still alive, but in dire distress, and the mother was too stupid to realize it, or just was too afraid to accept it. And instead of getting the baby help, because all of these other problems going on, especially with the babysitter bringing up abuse allegations and all of that, especially with being kicked out, the timing of everything piled on top of one another was like, essentially the mother probably pieced together that there was an injury from the boyfriend, or maybe she really just thinks it was her and doesn't remember it. Either way, instead of getting the baby help, she didn't. She called in her brother. What was the brother's role? The Magician in reverse. So remember, we got the Magician upright yesterday when we were talking about, like, it was about getting rid of the body. So now it's in reverse here instead of upright. And I also got the Eight of Cups in reverse, which is about temporary success. So the brother's job was to get the mother out of that moment and with a fighting chance to get away with this. The Magician in reverse is also like manipulation. So his job was to help her concoct a story or help her prepare for the cover-up that was going to need to come once this baby was called in as missing. The Eight of Cups in reverse is like a numbness emotionally. So it's like, did the brother know that it was the boyfriend that caused an initial injury when he started getting involved in this? Four of Swords in reverse. Continuing despite dire stress. So the boyfriend does something to injure the baby, likely wakes up the whole house in like a fit of rage, because if he has to be awake, everyone has to be awake. So if the brother was there at that time, the brother would have also heard this happening. The baby gets passed to the mother. The mother's in a daze. She just woke up. She might be on some substances. Even if she's not, there's something that's impairing her from seeing the situation clearly. The boyfriend knew this, in like a haste, gives the baby to the mother and goes to work. Make sure he texts the babysitter so that the babysitter will not show up. But still needs to wait for the trash to come to dispose of everything before they call the police, which is why the police were not called. So the brother is not emotionally connected enough to the sister to where he wouldn't be able to think rationally about how to get away with this in like a criminal mentality. So he was able to separate his emotions and say, okay, look, this is how you can best get away with this. It's not necessarily that he was trying to help her get away with it so that she could get away with it. It could have been that he was helping it not potentially fall back on him. Because if he's sleeping in the house, his sister's sleeping in the house, and the boyfriend's at work and they called the cops because a baby has passed away through an obvious injury, guess who the suspects are? The brother and the mother. I mean, obviously the boyfriend too, but the people who were in that house when that 911 call would have been made are going to be suspects. The brother has a past criminal history, as does, I think, everyone else in the story, which nothing wrong with that. However, in an element of, especially depending on what that criminal history is, if you call the police and say there's a dead baby in the house or a severely injured baby in the house where I just woke up from, it doesn't matter what picture you paint, you are a suspect until they figure out what happened to that baby, how and who did it. everyone that last saw that baby is going to be a suspect. So in order for that to not happen, this baby can't be found or located. They have to essentially make it look like this baby disappeared. That way it puts the blame on someone outside of the house rather than the people inside of the house who did have something to do with it. How do you disappear a child without being a suspect? Well, the only way would be to say that someone came and took him from you, because that way you don't know where he is, you don't know what happened, it's just that he was taken. So the mother realizes there's something wrong with the baby. She goes to the brother. They realize this baby has some kind of severe injury or sickness that he's not going to just be okay from. They realize that he's in dire distress and going to need help, but they also realize that that help is going to come at the cost of their freedom, because it's going to be obvious that something malicious happened to this baby. What happens next? Six of Cups, reaching out and help, asking for help from someone, and Ace of Swords in reverse, disaster, self-destruction, weakness, chaos. So the sister calls or goes to the brother. So the boyfriend has left for work. Okay, he injured the baby, tried to basically manipulate the mom to make it seem like she possibly did it, or that she doesn't know where it came from, or like it's just like all this happened so quick and now she has this injured baby that she's like, what, did I do this? But he knew that she would panic because there's too much at stake and there's too much already up against them with like what the grandmother is saying, what the babysitter is saying. There's too much that would be used against them. Essentially, the boyfriend put the mother in a position where there's nothing she could have done without it leading to her own demise. Now, when you're a parent, your demise doesn't matter. It's just the well-being of your child, not in her mind. She was looking at it like, okay, this baby is in need of help, but me calling for help is basically me signing my own like ticket to jail, because the babysitter's going to come up and say we're abusing them. They're going to basically tell everything that's already going on. You know, my mom's already kicking us out of the house. So it's going to be very obvious that there's a problem with me. And even if I say, okay, no, my boyfriend did this, he's at work. You're the mother. You're supposed to be watching the baby. Actually, she's not supposed to be watching the baby. The grandma is. But basically, there's no way that she could have gotten that baby help without going to jail. And she knew that. The only way that she could get out of this moment and into the next moment would be to make it so no one could find out that this baby is injured. By putting the baby somewhere else. I believe that the baby was still alive, and they knew that this baby was just going to suffer if the baby did not get help. And either the brother essentially did something. It's something with the pool. So I believe that whatever happened, they essentially drowned him to help him finish passing away. So either the brother instructed the mother that that's what she needs to do and then they can get rid of the evidence, or the brother did it for the mother. I believe that the brother probably instructed the mother as to what to do. this is what I'm thinking. So I think that everyone in this situation, it's not so much that they're trying to help one another get away with it. It's that they're trying to help themselves get away with it. So could the brother have been like, what, the baby's injured? I'm calling 911 to get him help. Yeah. Why didn't he? Because that baby was injured in the house where he was staying, and the only options of how he could have gotten injured are someone in that house. Could the mother have called? Yes. But she's getting kicked out of the house. She has allegations of abuse against her. Her own mother is saying that she's not a good person. So in her mind, she's like, even if I call and say my baby's in distress, they're going to come here, they're going to take one look at the baby, and they're going to take me to jail. And the boyfriend kind of got a step ahead of this whole thing by leaving for work, because once he's left for work, if they were to call and say this baby's in distress, the boyfriend can at least be like, I'm at work. The baby's in distress. He must have been in distress after I left. Y'all did it. I didn't. So that's why the mother and brother weren't able to call and get the baby help, because essentially the boyfriend like outthought them, or kind of like put them in a position where they couldn't tell on him, because if they told on him, they would also go to jail. And he might not go to jail with them telling on him, because it's very easy to say, oh, that person that's not even here hurt my baby, when it's just you and your brother in the house. It's like, okay, that person, how you have to prove that that's the person. Otherwise, it's on you, because you're the one that's in the house with the injured baby calling. Does the grandmother, which is the mother's mother, does the grandmother know, in terms of what I've said, does the grandmother agree with kind of essentially what I've said happened? Agree with, or know, or has discovered? Page of Swords about being talkative or aggressive. So she's really trying to find out. Nine of Pentacles. She has found out. Yes. She kind of like how in tarot you ask questions in like a strategic way to bring about the answers that you're looking for. So essentially that's what the grandmother did. It's not that she straight out said, hey, did this happen? It's that she placed the right questions to get bits and pieces of the answers so that she could put the whole picture together. But I do feel like she believes that she has a solid idea of what happened. That being said, there is messages online from the grandmother's Facebook account. There's like screenshots and everything. If you look it up, I'm sure you can find it very quickly. But basically the grandmother says that the baby's in a landfill, her daughter did it, and has no memory of it. If she believes that she knows for sure what happened, saying that would be a really good way to try and alleviate her own self from the responsibility that comes from leaving a baby with someone that he shouldn't have been with, leading to his death. She doesn't remember. Be back. Okay. So really quick on a side note, what is the grandfather, which is essentially Quinton's step-grandfather? It's the mother's husband. What's his energy? The Lovers. Nine of Cups. His goal is to help his wife not go down with her daughter's sinking ship. So I'm gonna pull a card to see if I should say what I'm thinking about the one interview. Hold on. Three of Cups, yes, okay. So in the one interview, the grandmother starts basically saying, I don't feel I can trust my daughter. This was before the announcement came about Quinton being likely deceased. The grandmother was saying, my daughter hasn't always made the right choices. She doesn't always do the right thing. She starts going, you know, down that road. And at a certain point, you can see the husband, the grandfather, starting to get like a little bit like in his mind, it's almost like he's like, okay, that's enough. All right. And his body language completely changed, and the grandmother kind of kept talking, and then at one point the grandfather just like blurts something out and cuts her off and gets her to shut up. It's almost like it's not that he's protecting the daughter, it's that he's protecting the grandmother. He's trying to get her to be quiet so that she doesn't basically admit, okay, I knew these people were dangerous, but left the kids with them anyway because I had something I had to do. I had to go to work, so I had no other choice. He's trying to make it so that she's not found culpable for allowing this to happen. That's his main concern. Let me think. Let me pull a couple of these. So, tell me something about the cops. Something about the police, law enforcement. Killer may have an item belonging to the victim. I believe that they found something of the mother's or on the mother's that has proof of death of Quinton. So that could be, you know, I understand that it could be blood, but I feel like it would take a substantial amount of blood found for them to say that it's him deceased, which is why I think that it's another type of bodily fluid, or, I mean, I guess it could be like vomit and then something that was detected in the vomit, something like that. I'm feeling like for them to find blood, there would have had to been just like blood just left there, because it would have had to been a substantial amount of blood for them to say, okay, someone can't lose this amount of blood and still be alive. It's kind of, so like it had to be something. And how this says killer and it has the picture of a woman, I really feel like the baby was not all the way deceased, but the mother, instead of getting help, let or assisted the baby in finishing passing away. Let's pull one more. Rage or extreme anger was a motive. Look, it's literally like a man like yelling toxicity into the air. It almost honestly looks like a heart. Like he's like yelling from like the depths of his being. Like the anger was extreme. Pull a couple of these just to finish this off. I think that this gives us a general basis for now. I'm going to pull 2 cards for each person involved in this. We're going to start with the boyfriend. 2 each to get their general energy and whatever we can know about fragmentation. So it's like bits and pieces of himself. He doesn't, it kind of goes with the whole waking up in the morning being angry thing. It's like he was trying to pull himself together, and there's bits and pieces everywhere, and he couldn't do it, and the frustration was just mounting. Master of the Great Hunt. First word is authority. Authority, the hunt, and natural balance. So he was basically trying to adult, essentially. He was trying to get his life together, or at least have it look like that on the outside. And think of it like when you think of it like a broken glass, like a broken plate, and you glue the pieces back together. When those pieces are still drying, it's very fragile. And that's kind of like his mindset. Like, it was still drying and it wasn't able to be really like moved around or changes made to it yet. It had to stay stationary. But like, the boy was throwing him off, and the grandmother was throwing him off, and he just was trying to get back his power over his life. Cards for the mother, as in Quinton's mother. Perchance to dream. Artificial heart. That picture. I feel like, I mean, these just honestly speak volumes by themselves for the mother. She was living in a dream world, thinking that things could go back to being good, that they could get through this in a way that had any positivity to it. It's like she was able to just turn into the Ice Queen. Like, she chose her boyfriend and herself over her child. She was able to turn off her emotions. It's like when the baby came to her injured, when she realized that something was wrong, it was like she had to make a choice between herself or her child. Is she gonna basically sign her own jail ticket and go to jail in order to get the baby help? Or was she willing to sacrifice the baby in order to potentially get away with this happening? And we know what she chose. I hate these cards together. They're the most appropriate pair for her, but the energy of these is like, the brother. Okay, so this happened for a reason. There's 2 cards on my table, and there's 2 cards on the floor. I'm going to pick up the ones on the floor. These were on the floor, and these were on the table. The ones on the floor, the ones on the table are going to be the brother's energy before all of this happened, and the ones on the floor are going to be after he was approached with this problem. So before, we have the Leper King, Sword of Law, bravery, self-discipline, and faith. And then Arthur, the Champion of Avalon, companionship, nobility, and self-realization. So before this happened, the brother was thinking that he was kind of getting control back over his life, which would totally make sense of why he didn't want to potentially get drawn backwards from this situation. So he was focused on either progressing or at least making it look like he's progressing. He was in his way, whatever that way was. I'm not saying it was legal. I'm not saying it was the right way, but in whatever way was his way, he was making progress, the brother. He's approached with this situation. Danu, mother of creation. So he's approached with this situation by the mother of the child. Motherhood, ferocity, creation. The exile. Forsaken soldier. So he's approached by the mother. He's making progress, getting his ish back together, at least he thinks. I know that some people said he had a rough past. He thought that he was moving in the right direction, or maybe he was moving in the wrong direction still, but doing it successfully. Whatever it was, he was making progress in whatever way he felt was progress. And he's approached by the mother in this situation with a big problem. The woman on this card has 2 sets of hands. It's like she needed an extra set of hands. She needed help. The exile, get the problem gone. Strategy, failure, and trauma. Forsaken soldier. So it was like in time of battle, he was needed. He might have had the best relationship with his sister, but she needed help. And if he didn't help her get rid of this problem, then the progress that he felt like he was making was not going to matter. So the mother had to turn off her emotions. Not that she has any anyway. I'm just gonna bite my tongue. She, Ice Queen over here, came to the brother and was like, I need your help. I need that second set of hands. I need your assistance. We need to get rid of the problem, okay? Because no matter who did this, we're going down for it because we've done other bad stuff. So we have to come up with a strategy. The brother told the mother to drown the baby to finish. The mother goes to the brother, oh my gosh, he's injured, he's sick, something's wrong. I think the boyfriend did it, or I know the boyfriend did it, or blah, blah, blah. But if we call, it doesn't matter because he's gone, we're here. What do we do? You know, he's going to suffer. We have to put an end to the suffering. Let's put him in the pool to finish it off and then get rid of the evidence. Because no matter what happens, once this baby has a certain type of injury that's like, you know, it's not like he bumped his leg. It's like an injury that's serious and an injury that clearly came from an adult figure. Let's put it that way. So in that, in order for the brother to keep moving forward along with his own life, they had to get rid of the baby, because no matter how they presented this to look, they could blame anybody they want, but this baby has an injury and they're the ones in the house. So they're going to be, especially with their past and especially with current allegations, no matter what picture they paint, they've already inserted themselves into this picture in a negative manner. The grandmother. The ageless, the light in the darkness. What about that? Healing, graciousness, and acceptance. So this is her energy. She's trying to essentially forgive herself for allowing this to happen. God, King of Duat. Commitment, acquisition, responsibility. she's trying to forgive herself for her role in this. She's trying to, you know, she sought the answers that she felt like she needed to receive so that she could feel like it's not her fault. So her questioning and her anger is coming from that defensiveness inside of her that is the part of her that realizes this baby shouldn't have been left with them, and you damn well knew it. That's why you had custody and they did not. So she has been framing and asking her questions in a way that will allow her to place the blame on other people and not herself, which tells you that she is feeling that responsibility, as she should, for this happening. That's why she's able to just say what she did from her Facebook account. And again, I'm sure you can find it if you look very easily. But she said, my daughter did it and she has no memory of it. Well, that's something you would say if you're trying to secure the blame on somebody else, anybody else that's not you, in a way that doesn't make it look like you left the baby with someone that was knowingly going to do him harm. She doesn't remember. There's a mental break. It's not like she was like this the whole time. It's not like she was planning this. It's not like she was showing me all these negative signs, even though she was. But in order for the mother or the grandmother to separate herself from, you know, the responsibility that she had to stop this from happening, that she did not take. So she's trying to forgive herself and ask the necessary questions that will allow her to forgive herself, which tells me that she knows what happened. The grandfather, the grandmother's husband, the step-grandfather, whatever he is, addicted. So I had 2 more cards come out. So addicted, the Morrigan, weaver of fate, introspection, opposition, antipathy. I don't know what that word means. He doesn't want to lose his wife and is basically trying to do anything he can to make sure the story develops in a way that does not point to his wife being guilty. Today for tomorrow. Whatever he has to do to get through today to make it through to tomorrow. Protecting her. I truly don't think that the grandfather has done anything illegal, anything harmful. I think that he's going to be willing to go to bat for his wife, to protect his wife, because he recognizes that they shouldn't have left the baby with them, but also doesn't feel like his wife should go down for what happened from the hands of someone else. So it's like he does realize that she did something not great, but also doesn't want to lose her because of her responsibility in it, because he feels like compared to what other people did, you know, her responsibility is not what should be focused on, essentially. Law enforcement. Law enforcement's energy about this case. Fated to suffer. It's like someone giving someone else an apple, like, oh, come on, like trying to get them, try to get information out of them, trying to lead them in the direction they want. Parasite. So law enforcement is being very strategic to try and get these parasites, get them to give them or fall into their trap in some way. They know that these people are evil. They know what happened. They just need to prove it. So they're trying to get that information out, or try to get them to bite into that apple so that they can be led to help law enforcement connect the case in some way. Did I forget anyone? The babysitter. Babysitter's energy. The traveler, keeper of the crossroads. Restlessness, independence, appraisal. Queen of my world. Oh. Keeper of the crossroads. She was this boy's safe spot. She was the only one who really gave a shit. This is really sad. If you look, it's like a woman, like, just ignore the words for a minute. It's just like a woman in a red dress. And then if you look here, it's like kind of a similar image of like the red dress, but it's like the woman's life has been sucked out of her. So this babysitter is taking this hard. I do feel like she feels like maybe she should have done more, but I also feel like she's going back and forth with like, you know, I did what I felt I should have. Like I feel like she was being misled in a way that made her feel like there was going to be some change, but now she's realizing, you know, maybe I should have done something else. But I don't feel like this, well, yes, she should have done something else. I feel like she didn't really realize the extent of the evil that she was dealing with. I do feel like in terms of like, I feel like the babysitter is going to do whatever is asked of her to bring justice for this baby. Whatever story she's asked to recall, like, not that she's going to lie and make stuff up, but that she's going to be very willing to tell the truth about what she's seen and experienced with this family. She is on board with getting justice for this baby in a way that the grandmother's even not, because the grandmother is still in some way trying to protect herself to some extent, where the babysitter is like, you know what? I'm telling everybody everything that happened. You know, I did bring my concerns up to people. Could I have brought them to other people? Maybe, but I did make some steps. I did care. I did show I cared. Where the grandmother is, you know, in it to get justice, but not at the expense of herself. Where the babysitter doesn't have that to really lose, because she did bring up her concerns. She did take steps, where the grandmother just left the babies with someone that the babies were taken from. So where the grandmother wants justice, she wants justice without getting that justice at the expense of her own self, where the babysitter's like, nope, justice. Everybody knows, you know, could I have done more? I already put this out there, right? So it's like, it's almost like the babysitter is willing to get justice at the expense of possibly making herself look bad. Whereas the grandmother will try to direct the story in a way that won't make herself look bad, but also still will try and get justice, but not at the expense of making herself look bad or culpable in any way. That's what I'm getting. Let's just pull literally one of these cards to wrap it up, because I wanted to make this quick for you guys, but I talk a lot. Someone coerced the killer into murdering the victim. The woman dressed up as a devil, and a man on this side. This is the mother. This is the brother. So the baby was not dead. The mother reached out for help. The brother told her what to do. She ultimately did it because she's standing here as the devil. yeah, we're done. We're done for now. This is it. This is really, really, I don't like it.